Welcome to Gas Ed. Today we will be discussing how to teach a complete beginner, even a 10-year-old, to build agentic workflows using AI coding tools. So let's dive right into this explainer, because what we're looking at here is a fundamental shift in how business processes are automated. Seriously, we're moving away from those rigid, super breakable systems into an era where the software actually does the heavy lifting for you.
Here's the game plan for today. We'll start with Agentic Workflows, then break down the WAT framework. After that, we'll cover MCP servers, look at some real-world AI case studies, and finally wrap up with how to become an AI architect yourself.
All right, Section 1, Agentic Workflows. What exactly are they?
Before we build a single thing, we've got to understand this massive shift away from traditional step-by-step automations. Think about traditional workflow automation, kind of like cooking dinner for yourself using a super strict recipe. You're dragging nodes onto a canvas, mapping data, configuring APIs. Essentially, you're the cook. You measure the ingredients, you set the oven timer, and if you skip just one step, the whole meal's ruined. But agentic workflows? Totally different ballgame. It's like walking into a high-end restaurant and just telling the head chef, "Hey, I want a delicious steak dinner." You aren't telling them how to season it or what temp to set the oven to. You just give them the outcome you want and they figure out the rest.
This is the crucial shift. You just give the system a goal. You absolutely do not have to map out every single node and API call anymore. And here's where it gets literally mind-blowing. If the AI agent needs more info, it acts exactly like that head chef. It'll actually come back and ask you a clarifying question, like, how would you like that steak cooked? And once you say medium rare, boom, it goes off and handles the whole shebang.
Moving right along to Section 2, the WAT framework and how it actually works.
So, to actually put all of this into practice, we use a beautifully simple operational model called the WAT framework. That stands for Workflows, Agents, and Tools. If we stick to our kitchen analogy, the agent is your chef, the main decision maker, powered by a large language model. The workflows are your recipes, those plain, natural language instructions that tell the chef how things generally work around here. And the tools? Well, those are the ingredients. They're the specific scripts or actions the chef executes, whether that's scraping a website or firing off an email.
Setting up this kitchen is incredibly easy, like zero prior coding experience required. It's just 3 quick steps. First, you grab a free, integrated development environment like Visual Studio Code. Second, install an AI coding extension. Claude Code is a great one. And third, you just drop in a simple text document that outlines your instructions, your WAT framework rules. This makes sure the agent knows exactly what to do on day 1.
Now, once you're set up, you don't just blindly hit go. Instead, you use what's called plan mode. By handing over a project requirement document first, the AI kind of acts like a high-level consultant. You give it a rough idea of what you're looking for, and it brainstorms, reasons, and asks you a bunch of targeted questions. This ensures it builds exactly what you need before writing even a single line of code. Honestly, it's exactly like having a senior developer planning out the architecture right next to you.
Okay, Section 3, MCP servers, supercharging your AI.
So, your chef is in the kitchen, the plan is greenlit, but now they need access to the outside world, right? Enter MCP, or Model Context Protocol. Think of this as an infinite supermarket of external tools for your AI. Back in the day, if your agent needed to search the web, read a Google Doc, and update a CRM, you'd have to manually build out connections to 3 totally different stores. But MCP gives you a single unified hub. Your agent can just autonomously walk right into this virtual supermarket and grab whatever tool it needs to get the job done.
A really perfect example of this is autonomous web scraping. Say you connect an MCP server for a tool like Firecrawl. You've instantly given your agent the ability to independently navigate the internet. It can scrape, search, crawl, and take incredibly messy website data and map it into super clean formats. And the best part? You never even had to specify the URL structures or the parsing logic.
Let's jump into Section 4, AI case studies and some real-world examples.
Let's see how this dynamic system actually handles some real, practical business tasks. In our first scenario, the goal was pretty straightforward. Extract job listings from a remote job board. Someone handed the agent a URL and a simple prompt. Find me 200 remote jobs and put them in an Excel sheet. The agent just went out, autonomously navigated the site, spun up its scraping tools, captured the exact fields we needed, and formatted the whole thing perfectly into a clean Excel output. No manual copy-pasting, no headache-inducing node mapping.
But what happens when things don't go perfectly according to plan? In our second case study, the goal was to find 500 niche sales jobs in Europe. Well, within a minute, the agent analyzed the site and hit a wall.
there were only 52 jobs available. Now, instead of just failing or crashing, the agent autonomously pivoted. It literally paused the workflow, reached out to the human manager, and asked for permission to include US data so it could actually hit the target. Once approved, it went right back to work and extracted 372 perfectly formatted items. I mean, that is genuine adaptive intelligence in action.
Which brings us to what is, honestly, probably the absolute most powerful feature of agentic workflows. They are self-healing. In a third case study, the system was asked to build a lead list of dentists. Initially, the agent tried to scrape a dental association site, but it hit a roadblock because the site used dynamic JavaScript. A standard static scrape just failed. In a traditional automation, everything crashes here, right? You're stuck doing hours of manual debugging. Not our agent. It immediately diagnosed the problem, switched its strategy over to Yellow Pages, ran into a parsing error there, realized its own regular expression code was slightly off, rewrote that code instantly, and successfully delivered 120 unique leads. It literally eliminated the entire debugging loop.
All right, final stretch. Section 5, becoming an AI architect and managing outcomes.
To truly harness this kind of power, you've got to adopt a completely new operational mindset. You have to transition from being a builder to being an architect. See, a builder spends all their time manually connecting technical dots, managing nodes, digging through API documentation, and fixing broken links. But as an architect, your job is no longer technical execution. It's strategic management. You are managing outcomes. You start treating the AI like a highly capable employee. You give it crystal clear parameters, and then you step back and let it execute all the granular details.
But to succeed as an architect, you absolutely must avoid the two biggest mistakes we see managers make with AI. First, giving vague instructions. You can't just drop a prompt like, "Find me leads." You've got to define the specific goal, the industry, the role. And second, and this is equally important, you have to define exactly what done looks like.
The whole architect mindset can basically be boiled down to a single sentence. I need exactly 75 LinkedIn profiles of CEOs, then stop. Providing that concrete finish line is an absolute must, because if you don't tell the AI when to quit, it might overcomplicate the task, keep researching indefinitely, or just get stuck in this endless optimization loop. Clear inputs and clear boundaries equal consistent, high-quality results.
And when you set things up like this, the compounding value is just staggering. Because these systems actually update their own workflow recipes and tool sets after every single failure or roadblock, they're continuously getting faster, smarter, and way more resilient. The code they write for you today literally becomes the foundation for an even faster execution tomorrow.
We are rapidly moving toward a future of fully autonomous workflows, where agents actually manage other agents, improving your business systems while you sleep. The professionals who learn to manage these systems strategically are going to have a massive advantage. So the only question left is, will you manage the machines, or will you be outpaced by those who do? That's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe.